The afternoon sun was bright over the busy street where Officer Ramon Morales stood, leaning casually against his patrol car. Two young women walked past him, chatting softly, their laughter light as bells. Ramon straightened and tipped his cap. "Good afternoon, ladies." One of them, tall and elegant with sharp eyes, replied politely, "Good afternoon, officer." Ramon tilted his head and smirked. "Sorry for the question, but did something happen in the sky?" The women exchanged puzzled glances. "Excuse me?" asked the shorter one, clutching her handbag tighter. Ramon chuckled. "I'm asking because I think two angels have fallen to earth." The taller woman rolled her eyes. "Believe me, with those pickup lines, no angel is going to look back at you." Ramon grinned wider. "Then will I have to try harder?" She sighed. "There's no need. We're leaving now, if you'll excuse us." But Ramon wasn't done. He leaned closer. "Do these angels have a license and registration?" The women stiffened. "Yes," the tall one answered sharply. "Then hand them over to me." Her voice grew firm. "Why? Are we suspected of something?" Ramon waved his hand casually. "Not yet. Just a routine check." The younger sister, whose name was Camila Vargas, whispered nervously, "Aleda, maybe we should just give him the papers." Aleda Vargas, her elder by 3 years, pulled the documents from her bag and slapped them into Ramon's hand. "Here you go." "But sir, what are you doing?" Ramon flipped through the papers lazily. "A check. Or are you blind?" Aleda's jaw clenched. "I'm asking because there's no apparent reason to thoroughly check our information." Ramon's eyes darkened. "Whether there's a reason or not, that's for me to decide." "Rookie," he barked to the other young officer standing nearby. "Listen and learn how things work." The younger officer, Officer Daniel Rios, shifted uncomfortably, clearly uneasy with Ramon's conduct. Ramon ignored him and tapped on the car window. "Step out of the vehicle, miss." Aleda's brows shot up. "Why? What's the reason?" Ramon's smirk deepened. "There is no reason. Get out now." Camila, trembling, opened the door and stepped out slowly. Ramon circled her like a predator. "Are you carrying anything that could harm me?" Camila shook her head. "No, sir." He turned to Aleda. "And you? Do I look like a criminal to you?" Aleda snapped back. "I think you're abusing your authority." Ramon chuckled. "Then I'll have to check you both, just to make sure everything's all right. Turn around. Now." Daniel stepped forward nervously. "Sir, I don't think that's necessary." Ramon cut him off sharply. "Are you interfering with the operation again?" Aleda lifted her chin defiantly. "If you're going to search me, I will definitely need a female officer to do it." Ramon smirked. "We're short-staffed, so I'll do it myself." Camila, panicked, turned to Daniel. "Please, I don't want to get into trouble, and I don't want him touching me." Daniel bit his lip. "Then I'll do it myself." Ramon slapped his shoulder. "Good boy. Search her." Daniel hesitated, clearly torn between duty and conscience. Finally, he shook his head. "No, I won't." Ramon's eyes narrowed. "Then I'll do it myself." The women glared at him, but endured the humiliating search until he finally stepped back. "All right, everything's in order." Aleda snapped. "Well then, if the search is over, we can go." Ramon blocked her path. "I'll be the one to tell you if you can leave." "There's absolutely no reason to keep us here," Aleda said sharply. Ramon smirked. "I still need to check the vehicle. Don't let them move." He waved his hand at Daniel, who froze. "Ladies," Ramon said smoothly, "this is just going to be a routine check. After this, you'll be able to go." Camila's voice trembled. "Do you know this is illegal?" Daniel shifted uneasily. "My partner is very suspicious," he murmured. Aleda shot him a piercing look. "You know these kinds of interventions are illegal." Daniel lowered his head. "I know that, but he's the boss." Aleda's tone softened. "When the time comes, your boss will put all the blame on you. You shouldn't obey him in everything." Daniel swallowed hard, guilt gnawing at him. Meanwhile, Ramon rummaged through the vehicle and suddenly pulled out a bundle of cash. He waved it triumphantly. "Can you please justify the origin of this money?" Aleda's eyes widened. "That money isn't ours." Ramon smirked. "It was in your car." Camila grabbed Aleda's hand. "Just tell him, Aleda." Ramon's eyes sharpened. "Tell me what?" Aleda's voice cracked. "Nothing important. Ramon's voice turned cold. If you cannot justify this money, then I will have to take you both to the station. Camila shook her head desperately. I don't know how that money got there. Aleda added firmly, and if she doesn't know, even less do I. Ramon turned to Daniel. Take the young lady to the police vehicle. Daniel's jaw tightened. Yes, sir. Daniel reached for Camila's arm gently. Miss, I must insist that you accompany me. Camila pleaded. Wait, officer. Maybe if you let me talk to my sister, she'll know where that money came from. Daniel frowned. It's best to cooperate with the law. Camila's lips trembled. Yes, officer. You're right. Thank you. She turned quickly to Aleda and whispered, Don't try anything stupid, or try to record. Daniel led her away as Ramon smirked. Finally, just the two of us. Aleda's eyes blazed. What do you think you're doing, Ramon? He leaned in close. I'm trying to make friends. She spat. Thank you, but I'd rather we go to the house so this can be over once and for all. Ramon tilted his head. Why do you want to take me to your house? Aleda crossed her arms. That's where I have the money. Ramon studied her closely. I'm thinking that you should go. Bring it back, and I'll wait for you right here. Aleda shook her head. It's just that I'd like to invite you for a glass of wine. Ramon smirked. Why such a sudden change? Aleda's voice was steady. Because I want to do business with you. Ramon chuckled darkly. Business? What kind of business? Aleda leaned closer. You know very well that the money you told me was mine isn't really mine. You only used it to trap me. Ramon raised a brow. And what does that have to do with business? Aleda whispered that I've been looking for someone like you for a long time. Someone who's on the side of the law. Someone who's brave and willing to take risks. Ramon narrowed his eyes. I'm not an idiot. You're up to something. Aleda smiled faintly. What could someone like me be up to? Ramon folded his arms. I don't know. But if you don't want to accept the deal, we'll go to your house. You'll give me what you promised, and you'll both end up in jail. Aleda's voice was calm. Relax. I would never risk making you angry. Daniel, standing by the car with Camila, overheard fragments of their tense exchange. His conscience screamed at him. When Ramon stepped aside for a moment, Daniel whispered urgently to Camila, If I don't obey, I could lose my job. Camila looked at him fiercely. Then report your coworker. Daniel shook his head. I can't. He's higher rank than me. And besides, it's frowned upon to turn in another officer. Camila's eyes filled with fire. But he's corrupt. The whole system is full of corrupt people. All it takes for evil to prevail is for one good person to do nothing. Daniel swallowed. And what should I do? Lose my job and leave with dishonor? Camila said softly, No. If you do the right thing, that won't happen. And the first thing you should do is let me go. Daniel's hands trembled as he weighed the risk. His eyes darted toward Ramon, who was still circling Aleda like a wolf. Camila's voice was softer now, almost pleading. Do you have children? Daniel shook his head. No. She leaned closer. Well, think carefully when you do. One day you'll have to look them in the eye and know whether you were part of this corruption or someone who stood against it. Daniel's throat tightened. He whispered, It's your choice. Either you stand up to the system, or you become one of them. The rookie's jaw hardened. I'll let you go. He quickly unlocked the door of the patrol car, his heart hammering. You're doing the right thing, Camila breathed. You'll make a good cop one day. Camila stepped away from the vehicle, and Daniel's panic grew. And your sister? We need to go see her. Camila's face clouded. Will she be okay? Daniel shook his head slowly. Not with Ramon. No one is safe with him. Camila's voice sharpened. Then help me. Tell me the truth. Is Colonel Jimenez corrupt? Daniel hesitated, his eyes shifting. I don't think so. You don't think so, or you don't know. Camila pressed. Daniel bit his lip. No, I don't think so. Camila nodded firmly. Then I really need to talk to him. Daniel frowned. Why? Camila met his gaze squarely. I can't tell you. You'll have to trust me. Daniel took a deep breath. Let's go. Inside Ramon's car, Aleda crossed her arms, pretending calm. Nice house. Ramon sneered as he drove down a narrow road, his eyes darting to her reflection in the mirror. Aleda forced a smile. It is thanks to the business I want to propose to you. Ramon laughed bitterly. I didn't think after our first conversation it would end like this. Aleda replied coolly. Life is unpredictable like that. He slowed in front of a two-story house with pale walls and iron gates. Come on, he said. Aleda stepped out gracefully, masking the storm inside her. Ramon narrowed his eyes. Excuse me, what is your name? She lifted her chin. Aleda Vargas. His brow furrowed. What kind of relationship do you have with Colonel Fernando Urrutia? Aleda blinked. I don't know him. Ramon smirked. Strange. I could have sworn I've seen you before. Inside the house, Ramon kept his hand near his holster as Aleda poured 2 glasses of wine. She placed one carefully before him. Please, after all this, do you still distrust me? Ramon snorted. You didn't like my compliment at first, and now you're inviting me for a drink? In business. Aleda shrugged. If you don't want to, you can wait here. I'll take out the money, and that's it. Ramon grabbed her wrist. Wait, if you give me any little surprises, you'll pay for them. Aleda forced a smile. I swear, there's no surprise. Just wine. Ramon lifted the glass suspiciously. Forgive me for being distrustful. It's part of my job. Aleda clinked her glass lightly. I understand. That's why I think you're the perfect partner for me. Ramon froze mid-sip. Partner? For what? Aleda's eyes glinted. I'll tell you, but first I need to know if you're someone I can truly trust. Ramon gave a short laugh. I think you're trying to trick me. Aleda leaned closer. What exactly do I have to do to prove to you that I'm trustworthy? Ramon smirked. For now, just do what you hinted at. After that, we'll see about business. He sat back, removing his jacket. Aleda's tone was smooth. The very first thing you need to do is take off that uniform. I can't do anything with all that on. Ramon raised a brow, but began unbuttoning. The gun, too, Aleda added softly. Ramon sat on the table, clearly intrigued. She whispered, Today we're playing in the big leagues, champ. But before Ramon could say another word, Aleda's expression hardened. I didn't think you were that stupid. His head snapped up. What? Aleda's voice rang sharp. What are you talking about? My father is Colonel Jimenez, and I am Aleda Jimenez, Lieutenant of Internal Affairs. Ramon's eyes bulged. What? Aleda stood tall. You heard me. Don't move. Stay still. She pointed the gun back at him. Just then, Colonel Jimenez himself entered with 2 other officers, his voice like thunder. Ramon, what have you done? Ramon stammered. I committed an administrative offense by not being in my workplace. The colonel's glare could have cut steel. No, Ramon. It's you who, for no reason, punish and bribe people on the street. I know everything. He turned sharply to Daniel, who had just entered with Camila. Jose, Daniel, tell them the truth. Daniel swallowed hard and finally nodded. They know everything. I told them. You are my accomplice. Ramon lunged at him. You're coming with me. Don't betray me. Colonel Jimenez raised his hand. You don't have enough evidence. You can't accuse me of anything. Ramon shouted desperately. The colonel's voice boomed. Of course we can. You fell into the trap. We were already investigating you from Internal Affairs. And besides, he gestured around the room. The car had cameras. This house has hidden microphones. We have all the evidence. Ramon shook his head wildly. No, Colonel. They're just looking for someone to blame. They want headlines. Jimenez stepped forward, towering. No, Ramon. You are a disgrace to the institution, and you will pay for everything you've done. He pointed. Officer, take him away. 2 policemen grabbed Ramon by the arms. He kicked and cursed, but the fight was over. Daniel stood frozen, his chest tight. As they dragged Ramon away, Camila whispered, It's over. The colonel turned to Aleda. Lieutenant, may I ask why you carried out an operation without informing me? Aleda lowered her head respectfully. I'm sorry, Colonel, but I didn't know how many people were involved. I couldn't risk warning the wrong person. Jimenez's face softened slightly. All right. Thank you, Damaris. You should have told me you were on an operation. Aleda shook her head. I wasn't. I just saw the opportunity and didn't want to waste it. Sorry for putting you at risk. The colonel's tone grew stern. Don't do it again. Aleda nodded. I won't. She glanced toward Daniel, who stood stiffly in the corner. Oh, and about the other officer, she added softly, you should give him a chance. He's a rookie, but he's good. Jimenez studied Daniel for a long moment. I'll think about it. Daniel swallowed nervously and stepped forward. "Lieutenant," he said hesitantly, "I just want you to know that I am at your complete service for whatever you may need." Aleda gave him a small, genuine smile. "Thank you. And I hope you never let yourself be manipulated by anyone again, or let it turn you into a bad cop." Daniel nodded firmly. "That won't happen." Aleda's eyes softened. "I hope." So the evening grew quieter after Ramon was escorted out, but tension still hung in the air. Camila clutched her sister's hand tightly. "I thought we weren't going to make it," she whispered. Aleda gave her a steady look. "We did because we stayed calm and smart." Colonel Jimenez turned toward them. "Miss Vargas, you are lucky my daughter was here. If she hadn't acted when she did, things could have ended differently." Camila's voice trembled. "So it's true your father?" The colonel nodded. Aleda smiled faintly. "Yes. I didn't want to reveal it too soon. Sometimes it's better to hide who you are until the right moment." Camila exhaled shakily. "I don't think I'll ever forget this day." Daniel shifted uncomfortably. "Lieutenant." "Colonel, I want to say something." The colonel raised an eyebrow. "Go ahead." Daniel cleared his throat. "I know I was weak at first. I should have spoken sooner. But I didn't want to lose my job. I didn't want to be seen as a traitor." Aleda studied him carefully. "And yet, you still made the choice to stand on the right side." Daniel lowered his head. "Yes, because she reminded me of something important." He glanced at Camila. "That if we do nothing, evil wins." The colonel's expression softened slightly. "You may be a rookie, Rios, but perhaps you're not beyond saving." Aleda guided Camila to a chair. "Sit down. You've been through a lot." Camila shook her head. "I don't want to sit. I want to understand. How did you know to set him up? How did you know Ramon was corrupt?" Aleda leaned against the wall, folding her arms. "Because he was too confident. A clean officer doesn't stop innocent women without reason. And the moment he found that money, I knew he was planting it. It was a pattern we'd seen before." Camila's brow furrowed. "So this wasn't the first time?" Aleda shook her head. "No, he had done it before, just never caught." Camila whispered. "And today, he walked straight into your trap." Colonel Jimenez joined the conversation. "My daughter is skilled at seeing patterns, but she also takes risks I don't approve of." His tone was firm, though not without pride. Aleda gave him a small smile. "I couldn't wait, father. If I had delayed, he might have slipped away again." The colonel sighed. "Perhaps. But one day, that impatience might cost you." Camila's eyes darted between them. "So, you work together?" Aleda chuckled. "Sometimes. But most of the time, he scolds me." The colonel's lips twitched. "Because most of the time, she deserves it." Daniel rubbed the back of his neck. "So what happens now?" "Ramon is arrested, yes, but what about the money he planted in their car?" The colonel crossed his arms. "That will be logged as evidence. It will prove his corruption." Aleda nodded. "And your record will be cleared, Camila. Neither you nor your sister will be blamed." Camila blinked, tears forming in her eyes. "Thank you. I was so scared we'd be thrown in jail for something we didn't do." Aleda's voice softened. "I promised I wouldn't let that happen." The younger sister hesitated. "But what if he tries to accuse us again? Or what if others like him come after us?" Aleda stepped closer, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "You're safe now. We'll protect you." And besides, her eyes narrowed. "This isn't over. Ramon is only one piece of a much bigger puzzle." Camila looked alarmed. "What do you mean?" Aleda exchanged a brief look with her father before answering carefully. "Let's just say corruption doesn't start and end with one man. We'll need people brave enough to fight it." Camila swallowed hard. "And you think I could be one of those people?" Aleda smiled gently. "Courage comes in unexpected places." Daniel spoke again, his voice uncertain. "Lieutenant, I don't mean to overstep, but isn't this dangerous for them? They're civilians. Shouldn't we just let them go home?" Aleda turned to him. "And what happens when they go home? What if someone else like Ramon pulls them over tomorrow?" Daniel frowned. "Then we arrest them too." Aleda shook her head. "You don't fight corruption by waiting. You fight it by acting." Daniel hesitated. "That's easy for you to say. You're a lieutenant. I'm just a rookie with no protection." Aleda's gaze softened. "Even rookies can make the right choices." The colonel's deep voice cut through. "Enough." Everyone fell silent. "It's late. We'll take the Vargas sisters to a safe location for the night." Tomorrow, we'll continue the investigation. Camila clutched Aleda's arm. A safe location? Do you mean protective custody? Aleda nodded. Yes, it's better this way. Camila looked uneasy. But our mother will worry. Aleda replied gently. We'll inform her. Right now, your safety is more important than anything else. Camila exhaled shakily. All right, if you think it's necessary. Aleda squeezed her hand. I do. Later, as they prepared to leave, Daniel lingered behind. Colonel, he asked quietly. Jimenez glanced at him. What is it? Daniel shifted nervously. I know I made mistakes today. I know I let fear guide me. But if you'll allow me, I want to make it right. I want to keep serving, but this time with honor. The colonel studied him in silence for a long moment, his stern face unreadable. Finally, he said, Words mean little, Rios. Only actions matter. Prove to me you can stand firm when it counts, and maybe then you'll earn your place. Daniel straightened, determination flickering in his eyes. Yes, sir. The convoy of vehicles started down the dimly lit road. Camila sat quietly in the back seat, her thoughts racing. Beside her, Aleda rested a steadying hand on her shoulder. You're safe now, she whispered. Camila turned to her. But what about tomorrow? What if this isn't the end? Aleda gave a small, knowing smile. It's never the end, Camila. This is just the beginning. Her words carried a weight that made Camila shiver. She glanced out the window as the city lights blurred by, wondering what fate awaited them next. The safe house was a modest building tucked between tall trees on the outskirts of the city. The walls were plain, the windows covered with heavy curtains, and the silence around it felt almost unnatural. As the group entered, Camila clung to her sister's arm. This place gives me chills, she whispered. Aleda offered a faint smile. It's designed that way. Safe houses are meant to keep people hidden, not comfortable. Daniel, who carried their bags, added awkwardly, Don't worry. You'll be secure here. Camila frowned. Forgive me if I don't feel reassured. The colonel, who stood at the doorway giving instructions to officers, overheard. Trust the process, young lady. Tonight, no one will touch you. Aleda guided her sister to one of the small rooms. A single bed, a wooden chair, and a desk lamp made up all the furniture. Camila sat down slowly, staring at the peeling paint. How long will we have to stay here? She asked. Aleda pulled the chair close. Only until the colonel decides it's safe. Maybe a day, maybe longer. Camila groaned. We didn't ask for any of this. Aleda's gaze softened. I know, but sometimes danger finds us even when we don't look for it. Camila muttered under her breath. I wish it hadn't. Meanwhile, Daniel stood outside the room, speaking with the colonel in low tones. Sir, with all due respect, do you think it's wise to keep them involved? They're innocent. Jimenez shook his head. Innocent or not, they've become witnesses. That makes them part of this whether we like it or not. Daniel pressed his lips together. And Ramon? Do you think he acted alone? The colonel's eyes narrowed. No, men like him are never alone. There's always a chain. His voice dropped lower. And I intend to find who's at the top later that night. Aleda joined Daniel in the kitchen. The hum of the refrigerator was the only sound between them for a long while. Finally, Daniel spoke. I want to thank you. Aleda raised a brow. For what? He shifted uncomfortably. For forcing me to see the truth. If not for you, I would have kept quiet. Aleda studied him. You were scared. That doesn't make you weak. What matters is the choice you made in the end. Daniel looked down. I still feel guilty. Aleda's voice softened. Guilt is only useful if it pushes you to do better next time. In the small bedroom, Camila lay awake staring at the ceiling. Every creak of the floorboards made her tense. Finally, she whispered Aleda. Her sister turned from the desk where she had been writing notes. Yes. Camila hesitated. Do you ever feel like the world is just too heavy? Like no matter what you do, you'll be crushed. Aleda's expression softened. She stood and sat beside her, brushing back her hair. Yes, I feel all the time. But then I remember something Father once told me. Strength doesn't mean you don't feel the weight. It means you carry it anyway. Camila's lips trembled. I don't think I'm strong. Aleda smiled gently. You are, more than you realize. The next morning, The house stirred with quiet activity. Officers rotated shifts, checking windows, securing doors. Daniel knocked lightly on the sister's door. "Breakfast is ready." Camila opened it, her face pale from lack of sleep. "I don't think I can eat." Daniel offered a small smile. "You should try. You'll need your energy." Camila frowned. Energy for what? Before Daniel could answer, Aleda appeared behind her. "For whatever comes next." Camila groaned. "I don't like the sound of that." At the breakfast table, the colonel spread documents across the surface. "We've gone through Ramon's phone records," he announced. And Aleda leaned forward. Jimenez's jaw tightened. "He's been in contact with at least 3 other officers. High-ranking. This wasn't random. It was coordinated." Daniel's eyes widened. "So the rot goes deeper." The colonel nodded grimly. "Yes. Ramon was just the bait. Someone higher gave him orders." Camila looked between them nervously. "What does that mean for us?" The colonel answered bluntly. "It means you're in more danger than before." Camila pushed her plate away. "Why us? Why drag us into this? We were just 2 women driving home." The colonel's eyes softened slightly. "Because corruption doesn't care who you are. You were convenient targets." Aleda added, "And because Ramon underestimated you. He thought you'd break easily. Instead, you stood firm." Camila let out a shaky laugh. "I didn't feel firm. I felt terrified." Aleda squeezed her hand. "Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's standing despite it." Camila's eyes watered. "You sound just like father." Aleda smiled faintly. "Maybe because I learned from him." Daniel leaned forward, his voice hesitant. "Colonel, with all this corruption, how do we even know who to trust? What if the people we report to are also compromised?" The colonel's gaze was heavy. "That's the hardest part. In this job, trust is a rare luxury. That's why I keep my circle small. And why people like you, Daniel, must decide who you want to be." Daniel swallowed hard. "I want to be the kind of cop who looks his future children in the eye without shame." The colonel gave a small nod. "Then prove it." After breakfast, Aleda stood by the window, watching the sunlight spill across the quiet garden outside. Camila joined her, wrapping her arms around herself. "Do you think this will ever end?" she asked softly. Aleda didn't answer immediately. Finally, she whispered, "No, corruption never really ends. But we can fight it, piece by piece, day by day." Camila rested her head on her sister's shoulder. "Then I'll fight too, if I have to." Aleda turned to her, surprised but proud. "That's the spirit. Just remember, you're not alone." By midday, the safe house grew tense. A black car had been spotted circling the road twice. One of the guards rushed in. "Colonel, unknown vehicle. No plates." Jimenez's expression hardened. "Everyone stay inside." Camila's hand shook. "They've found us, haven't they?" Aleda placed a calming hand on her sister's arm. "Not necessarily. It could be nothing." Camila's voice cracked. "And if it's not?" Aleda met her gaze firmly. "Then we'll face it together." Daniel checked his sidearm nervously. "Sir, should we move the sisters?" The colonel shook his head. "Not yet. Let's see what they do." From the window, Aleda saw the car slow, then drive off. Her breath left in a rush. "False alarm?" Daniel asked. The colonel's tone was measured. "Or a warning. Whoever is behind this wants us to know they're watching." Camila whispered. "This is never going to stop, is it?" Aleda wrapped an arm around her. "It will, but only when we cut out the root." Daniel muttered under his breath. "If we live long enough to find it." The colonel's eyes flicked toward him sharply. "Speak with courage, Rios. Fear spreads faster than bullets." That night, as the safe house settled into uneasy quiet, Aleda found Daniel sitting alone on the porch, staring into the darkness. "Can't sleep?" she asked. He shook his head. "Every noise feels like a threat." Aleda sat beside him. "You're learning what it means to live under constant pressure." Daniel gave a bitter laugh. "I didn't join the force to be eaten alive by corruption." Aleda's voice was calm. "Then be different. Stand for something." Daniel looked at her, eyes filled with doubt. "But what if standing alone gets me killed?" Aleda's answer was soft but firm. "Then at least you'll die clean." Inside, Camila tossed restlessly. She couldn't sleep either. When Aleda returned, she found her sister sitting upright on the bed. "You're awake," Aleda said gently. Camila's eyes were wide. I can't stop thinking about it. That officer. Ramon, what if there are more like him? What if we're just pawns in something bigger? Aleda sat beside her. We probably are, but pawns can become powerful if they survive long enough. Camila frowned. You make it sound like a chess game. Aleda nodded. It is. And the key is to outthink your opponent. The following morning, the colonel gathered them all around the table. His tone was clipped. We intercepted a message last night. Someone higher up is unhappy about Ramon's arrest. Aleda leaned forward. Did they mention names? The colonel's jaw tightened. 2. Captain Morales and Inspector Duarte. Daniel's eyes widened. Both of them? They're senior. Jimenez nodded grimly. Yes, which means Ramon was just the beginning. The rot runs deeper. Camila muttered, and more dangerous. The colonel's eyes hardened. Exactly, which is why you must both stay under protection until this is resolved. Camila groaned. Protection? That feels like prison. Aleda gave her a patient look. It's safety. There's a difference. Camila folded her arms. I don't like being trapped. The colonel interjected. Would you prefer being hunted? Camila flinched, but said nothing more. Daniel tried to lighten the mood. Think of it this way. You're part of something bigger now. You're not just victims. You're witnesses who can help change things. Camila rolled her eyes. That's supposed to make me feel better? Daniel smiled sheepishly. I was trying. Later, Aleda pulled Daniel aside. Stop pushing her, she said quietly. She's been through enough. Daniel sighed. I was only trying to encourage her. Aleda's voice softened. I know, but encouragement feels like pressure when someone's afraid. Daniel nodded. You're right. I'll back off. She gave him a small smile. Good. Because if she breaks, we lose more than a witness. We lose a fighter who doesn't know she's a fighter yet. Daniel looked at Aleda with quiet admiration. You always see more than others do. Aleda shrugged. It's part of the job. That afternoon, Camila found herself pacing the living room. I feel useless, she muttered. Aleda looked up from her notes. You're not useless. Camila huffed. Then what am I supposed to do? Just sit here while you all chase shadows. Aleda set her pen down. You watch. You learn. You survive. That's more important than you realize. Camila frowned. But I want to help. Aleda smiled faintly. You already have. You kept your head when Ramon tried to break us. That wasn't nothing. Camila's lips trembled. I only stood because you stood. Aleda hugged her gently. And that's enough. As evening fell, an unexpected knock rattled the safehouse door. Every officer jumped to attention. The colonel motioned for silence, then approached carefully. Who is it? He barked. A familiar voice called back. It's Captain Morales. Camila gasped, clutching her sister's arm. That's one of the names. Aleda's eyes narrowed. Father, don't open it. Morales's voice came again, smooth and commanding. Colonel, we need to talk. It's urgent. Jimenez exchanged a glance with Aleda. Stay alert, he muttered. He unlocked the door, but kept his hand near his weapon. Morales stepped inside, his uniform crisp, his smile cold. Evening, Colonel, Morales said smoothly. I heard you've been busy. His eyes flicked to Aleda and Camila. And these must be the famous sisters. Camila stiffened, but Aleda stood tall. Captain Morales, she greeted coolly. Morales's smile widened. I see your reputation for boldness is true, but boldness can be dangerous. Jimenez cut in sharply. State your business, Captain. Morales's smile faded into something harder. I came to warn you. Drop this investigation. Release Ramon, or you'll regret it. Silence fell like a stone across the room. The colonel's jaw tightened at Morales's threat. Are you threatening me in my own safe house, Captain? Morales shrugged. Not a threat, just advice. You know how things work. Some doors aren't meant to be opened. Aleda stepped forward. And what if the door hides rot? Should we just let it spread? Morales's gaze sharpened. You've been getting reckless, Lieutenant. I'd hate for your career to end before it begins. Camila clutched her sister's hand tightly. Aleda, don't. But Aleda's voice remained steady. My career isn't worth more than justice. Morales chuckled darkly. Justice? That's a pretty word. But justice doesn't feed families, doesn't buy silence, doesn't build power. He leaned closer. Money does. And alliances. Ramon understood that. You should too. The colonel's voice boomed. Enough. The room fell silent. Jimenez's eyes burned. Captain Morales, you've just revealed more than you intended. You're part of this. Morales spread his arms mockingly. And if I am, who's going to stop me? You. His eyes slid toward the sisters. Or them. Camila's stomach twisted with fear. Aleida moved swiftly, drawing her weapon and pointing it squarely at Morales. You're under arrest for corruption and obstruction. Morales laughed. Brave girl, but you have no proof. Aleida's lips curled in a faint smile. On the contrary, we've been recording since you walked in. Morales's expression faltered. He glanced around and spotted a small device glowing red on the table. His jaw clenched. You tricked me. The colonel stepped forward. No, Captain. You tricked yourself. Men like you always believe they're untouchable until the trap closes. Suddenly, Morales lunged toward Aleida. Shots rang out, one from his gun, one from hers. The room erupted in chaos. Camila screamed and ducked to the floor. Daniel tackled Morales to the ground, disarming him. Aleida stood, breathing heavily, her gun still raised, the smell of gunpowder hanging in the air. Morales cursed furiously as officers restrained him. Jimenez barked, "Secure him. Now!" Daniel panted, holding Morales down. Got him, sir. Camila scrambled to her sister's side. Aleida, are you okay? Aleida gave a quick nod. I'm fine. It's over. But in her eyes, Camila saw the storm was far from over. Once Morales was dragged away, the room settled into tense silence. Camila whispered, "How many more are there like him?" The colonel sighed heavily. Too many. But tonight, we've taken down 2 key players. That's progress. Daniel rubbed his forehead. Progress feels small compared to the size of the problem. Aleida turned to him. Don't underestimate small victories. They build momentum. They show people it's possible. Camila added softly, and they give hope. For the first time, Daniel allowed himself a faint smile. Hope. Maybe that's enough to start with. Later that night, Aleida found herself alone in the quiet kitchen, staring at her reflection in the dark window. Her father entered silently. You did well today, he said gruffly. Aleida didn't turn. At what cost? Camila's terrified. Daniel's shaken. And corruption still spreads like fire. The colonel placed a hand on her shoulder. Fighting darkness always feels endless. But you've lit a flame. Don't forget that. Aleida finally met his eyes. I don't know if it's enough. He answered firmly, it is for now. In the adjoining room, Daniel sat with Camila. She still trembled from the earlier gunfire. He offered her a cup of tea. Drink this. It'll help. She managed a weak smile. You sound more like a brother than a cop. Daniel chuckled softly. Maybe I'm learning. Camila's eyes softened. Thank you for standing up, even when you were scared. He looked away, embarrassed. I was scared, yes. But you reminded me why I put on the badge in the first place. Camila tilted her head. And why's that? Daniel's voice grew quiet. To protect people who can't protect themselves. The following morning, news spread quickly through the department. 2 senior officers arrested, evidence collected, and a web of corruption exposed. The colonel gathered his team. This is only the beginning, he declared. We'll face resistance. We'll face threats. But we cannot falter. Aleida stood tall beside him. We'll continue until the institution is clean, or until it breaks us. Camila whispered to Daniel, she's fearless. Daniel shook his head. No, she's afraid like the rest of us. She just doesn't let it stop her. Camila's eyes lingered on her sister with pride. That afternoon, as the safe house prepared for their departure, Camila approached Aleida quietly. When this is all over, what will happen to us? Aleida smiled gently. You'll go back to your life, and you'll carry the knowledge that you faced corruption head-on and survived. Camila shook her head. I don't think I'll ever see the world the same way again. Aleida squeezed her hand. Good. That means you're stronger now. And maybe one day you'll help others see it too. Camila blinked back tears. I hope so. As evening settled, the convoy left the safe house. The road ahead stretched long and uncertain, the horizon painted gold by the setting sun. Inside the car, Camila leaned against the window, watching the world roll by. Beside her, Aleda closed her eyes, exhaustion finally catching up with her. In the front seat, Daniel drove silently, determination etched across his face. The colonel followed in the lead vehicle, his thoughts heavy but resolute. They had won a battle, but the war was far from over. Yet in that fragile moment, with fear and hope tangled together, one truth stood clear. Corruption had been challenged, and the fight for justice had only just begun.